Okay, guys. So there is a question on your screen. Try for 2 minutes and then I'll pick it up. If you do get the answer, that's all that we needed. So there's a question now in front of you on your screen. Um, the question is, if a circular sheet is divided by its four chords in various regions, then find the maximum number of regions in which the circle can be divided. Take 2 minutes, try and solve it. If you're able to, get to the answer, all I'll say is use the option, next to your chat box which says send to, and just send it to me, that is the panelist. Okay. Okay. So let me pick it up, guys. I'll pick it up now. Yeah. So the question states that if a circular sheet is divided into its four chords in various, it's divided by its four chords in various regions, then find the maximum number of regions in which the circle can be divided. Great. I see quite a few of you all got the answer 8. Correct me if I'm incorrect. Do let me know if I'm incorrect. But I'm guessing that many of you all must have done something like this. All those who got 8, did you do this? Now you can reply to all participants. All those who got 8, did you all do this? So Shilpi saying yes. What about the others? Others who got 8? Okay, yeah, so most of you all are saying yes. The issue here is, guys, the moment you start doing this, what happens is, the first time, okay, say I draw a circle, and say, I go something like this, and then I go something like this. Now, the moment I've drawn two chords, they've intersected at a point. The moment the third chord that you draw intersects at this very same point, what you're doing is you're ending up reducing the number of, regions. So Pawan is saying, I can't see other people's answers. Pawan, you can't see other people's answers because everybody was answering to me directly. As I had stated that everybody should answer to me directly. You should not be able to see others' answers, otherwise it will affect what, there will be a certain bias that you bring onto the table which will affect how you solve a particular question. So it's very important for you not to be able to see others' answers when they are solving a question. However, guys, once the solution to a question is done, I'll really appreciate if you all again go back and use the option send to all participants so that the entire interaction is between all of us. Okay, guys? Great. Coming back to the question, the moment I draw the third chord and I ensure that it passes through the same point, what I'm doing is I'm reducing the number of regions that will be created. So, if instead of that I do something like this, I ensure that it does not pass through the same point, what I've done is I've increased the number of regions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes or no? Is this part clear? Brilliant. Coming back to what I was saying, so one of you all had a doubt, so I will just repeat, okay? Look at this, okay? Just look at this. I'm drawing a circle, and then I do this, and then I do this. I take another circle, I do this, I do this. Now, the first two chords are intersecting at one point. One possibility is now the third chord intersects at the very same point. The other possibility is that the third chord intersects at a newer point. Now, look at the first case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just 6 regions. Look at the second case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 regions. So, which one is giving you a greater number of regions? The second case. Yes or no? Yes or no? Why is this happening? Because the third chord intersected the previous two chords at two different positions, 1 and 2. Whereas in case number 1, the third chord was intersecting both the previous chords at the same point. So the basic objective is that if I want the maximum number of regions, each new chord should be intersecting the previous chords at a newer region. Is that clear? Is that clear? So using exactly the same logic, what will I do? The fourth chord should also be intersecting the previous 3 chords at 3 different positions. So I will draw it something like this. Now look at the number of regions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a small region 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So a few of you all had actually gotten 11. Those who did, brilliant answer, very good. Is this clear to everybody? Clear to everybody? So did I use any, very high level mathematical concept here? I use something that you all used to be doing at a very low level class, classes 6, 7 and 8. drawing simple diagrams, and I just used a very basic concept of each new chord should be intersecting the previous chords at newer positions. How to be sure that answer can't be 12 in exam and similar question? Manan, do exactly what I did. I drew the figure. I drew the figure. How can the answer be 12? I just drew the figure. There can be no other way in which you can draw a figure, right? The maximum number of regions could have been created only if every new chord was intersecting with all the previous chords at a newer point. And that is exactly what I did. I have drawn the figure. So the answer can't be more than this. Is that clear, Manan? Cool. Okay. So that was question number 1. This was the first question that I got in my CAT paper in 2016. Let's look at question number 2. So what is written is x squared plus ax plus 1 is equal to 0. Has both roots real and negative. Find the minimum possible value of a. X squared plus ax plus 1 equals 0. Has both roots real and negative. Find the minimum possible. I'm getting 10. How are you getting 11 with the same method? Okay. So guys, I'll just go back for a second because Gopesh had a question. Gopesh, look at my figure and look at the counting. That's all that I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't forget this small region here. 7. This small region here. 8, 9, 10 and 11. I hope that helps. Let's move on to the next question. X square plus ax plus 1 equals 0. Has both roots real and negative. Minimum possible value of a is. Guys, as always, I'll give you all 2 minutes. Do keep in mind that I'm not teaching you all today. So I'm not explaining concepts to you all. I'm not taking you all through basics of mathematics, basics of, quadratic equations and so on and so forth. The objective today is to familiarize you with the kind of questions that might crop up in the CAT exam. That's the objective. Okay? So try and solve this on your own, and then I'll show you a simple method of going about it. Once again, I'll give you all 2 minutes to try this. Okay, brilliant. Let me pick it up now. The question states x square plus ax plus 1 equals 0 has both roots real and negative. Minimum possible value of a is. Now, let me assume that you don't know anything. You don't know the concepts of real roots. You don't know the concept of negative. You don't know the concept of minimum value. Nothing. Okay. Say you don't know anything. Okay. Let's keep it like that. Okay. So if I was in your place and I knew nothing, the simplest way to solve this question would be like this. The question is x square plus ax plus 1 equals 0. So I'll just write that x square plus ax plus 1 equals 0. Brilliant. Both roots real and negative. Minimum possible value of a is. Among the options, what is the minimum possible value of a? Among the options, what's the minimum possible value of a? Is my voice audible, guys? Omkar can't hear. Somebody please help Omkar. You are absolutely correct. 0 is the minimum possible value. So the simplest thing I'll do is I'll substitute a equals 0. The equation becomes x square plus 1 equals 0, which means x square equals minus 1, which means obviously you know that x will not be real and it will be a complex number. I hope this is fine. Everybody clear with this, guys? Some very basic concept. I didn't do anything. Just substituted one value, so I'm 100% sure 0 is wrong. Which is the next smallest value? Next smallest value, 1. So do exactly the same thing. You get x squared plus x plus 1 equals 0. Very good. Now, there are 2 ways of going about it. One way is, going back to your math class, class 7, 8 when you were doing factorization, and you can go ahead and do something like this. This is of the form x plus, a plus b whole squared. So if I want to do that, it becomes x plus half whole squared. This is x squared plus 1/4 plus, x plus 3/4 equals 0, which means x plus half whole squared is equal to minus 3/4. So that means x plus half, let me call this x plus half as y. So it means y squared is equal to minus 3/4. So that will mean that y again belongs to complex numbers. Is this part clear? Simple factorization, not using any concept of mathematics. Not using, sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't mean mathematics. Not using any concept of quadratic equation. The other way of doing it is using the concept of quadratic equation. Don't be worried if you are not able to recollect this now. We'll be picking all that up, when we do quadratic equation and when we reach there. I'm just trying to showcase it to you all. Do you all remember discriminant b squared minus 4ac? Guys? Do you remember that quadratic equations had a formula something like this? Minus b plus minus root over b squared minus 4ac by 2a. You know, x is equal to this. There used to be a formula like this. In this part, this b squared minus 4ac is called a discriminant. And if this value is less than 0, then it means that, x will be complex. That means the roots will be complex. So find b squared minus 4ac. What is b? B is here. So any equation is expressed in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So if you just look at these two equations, you will see that b is equal to 1. Sorry, b is equal to 1, a is equal to 1, and c is equal to 1. Now substitute these values here in b squared minus 4ac. You get 1 minus 4, which is minus 3, which is less than 0. That means the roots will be complex. Is that clear? Is that clear? Everybody, guys, are we around? In case you found this difficult to follow, don't worry. As I pointed out earlier, today's class is not about, explaining these concepts to you all. It's just about showcasing a couple of things to you all. Okay? So in case you did not get this, don't worry. We'll pick it up, when we reach quadratic equations and algebra. Okay? Coming back here, so that basically means that x equal to 1 does not satisfy either. So what is the third smallest value now? The third smallest value, 2. So let me follow the same procedure again. The question becomes x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 0. That means x plus 1 whole squared equals 0. That means x is equal to minus 1 and minus 1. Now is minus 1 real or not? Is minus 1 real or not? Yes, it is real. Very good. Is it negative? Is it negative? Yes, it is negative. So you've suddenly got both roots as real and negative. And among all the options, this is the smallest value. Well, then this has to be the answer. Is that clear? I do not need to use any basic concept or any concept of quadratic equations. I can just go ahead and start substituting. A equals 1, A equals 0, A equals 2. The smallest possible value which satisfy, that's the answer. Crystal clear? Okay, spectacular. Having said that, let's move on to the third question. The third question. I'll also check whether Ayushi has already joined us or not. Yeah, the answer was 2, Mehul. Absolutely. Any of you, if you're able to solve this question, as always, just send it in to me and not to everybody. Guys, I won't let you know whether your answer is correct or not. There is a specific reason, okay? So let me explain to you why I wouldn't let you know whether your answer is correct or not. When it comes to the actual exam, whether it be CAT, whether it be ZAT, IFT, SNAP, NMAT, any of those exams, the problem is going to be that at the end of the day, you'll never know whether what you answered is correct or not. So it becomes very important for us to build in a sense of confidence in our own answers. Which is why one of the things that we'll try to follow is, even when you're answering, we will not tell you straight away whether you're right or not. Okay? Anmol, Q&A box will not have all participant option. All you need to do is you just need to write everything into the chat box. Do not use the Q&A box. Cool, Anmol? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so most of you all have already sent in your answers. Quite a few of you all have actually. Brilliant. So what I'm going to do is I'll pick up the question now. 4 consecutive prime numbers are arranged in ascending order. The product of the first 3 is 7429. That of the last 3 is 12673. Find the sum of the first and last. Brilliant. Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you all. Say, I had a question. The product of 2 consecutive numbers is 30. What are the numbers? How would you do and what would be the answer? The product of 2 consecutive natural numbers is 30. What are the numbers? Guys? The product of 2 consecutive natural numbers is 30. What are the numbers? Just a couple of you all have answered. What about the others? Come on, flow it. The answer should be flowing here. Simple question. Product of two consecutive numbers is 30. What are the numbers? Correct. It's 5 into 6. What did you do? Well, you basically know the tables of 5 and 6, right? You know the tables of 5 and 6. You also know factorization, so not a very difficult question. Great. Now I tell you that the product of three consecutive numbers, the product of three consecutive natural numbers is 60. What are the numbers? The product of three consecutive natural numbers is 60. What are the numbers? Guys, what are the numbers? The product, correct. 3, 4, 5. Very good. Once again, 3, 4, 5. Very simple tables, right? So all we needed to do was factorize. No real pain, no real difficulty, easy to handle. Brilliant. Now, imagine I had told you that the product of three consecutive numbers is 1, 2, 7, 4, 5, 2, 8, 3, 9, 3. What would you do? Any random number. 1, 2, 7, 8, 4, 9, 3, 2, 7, 3. What would you do? Would you factorize? Would you factorize? You'd factorize? No, factorization is not a good option. Not a good option. Let's see what to do. I said that the product of two numbers is 30. You know, the first question that I picked up was that the product of two consecutive numbers is 30. Brilliant. Now, if the product of two consecutive numbers is 30, the least that I can do is I can say worst case scenario, hypothetically, let me assume that the two numbers are the same. That is, they are x and x. Can I assume that? Let me just assume that the two numbers are the same, x and x. So that means the product x squared is equal to 30. Yes or no? Yes. So that means x would be root 30. Now root 30 is somewhere between 5 and 6. So the thing that you should be looking at is whether 5 and 6 divide 30 or not. And guess what? 5 and 6 was the answer. Is that clear? Clear? Similarly, my next question was that the product of three consecutive numbers is 120. Once again, I will say let the three numbers be x, x and x. So that means x cube is 120. Correct? X cube is 120. Right? So from here, sorry, I had said 60 or had I said 120? I don't remember. Had I said 60 or 120, guys? I said 60, okay. So then let me take the example of 60. So x cube is equal to 60 because the numbers are x, x and x. So if x cube is 60, x is equal to cube root of 60. Now cube root of 60 is very close to 4. Yes or no? Yes or no? So one of the numbers will guaranteed be 4. One of the numbers will guaranteed be 4. Substitute 4, you get the other answers as 3 and 5. So the numbers were 3, 4 and 5. So whenever you get a question which talks about the product of 3 numbers, 4 numbers, 5 numbers, 6 numbers, 7 numbers, always assume that all the numbers are the same. And then take out the nth root. Okay? Having said that, let us look at this question here now. 4 consecutive prime numbers are arranged in ascending order. The product of the first 3 numbers is 7429. Now, we do know one thing, that consecutive prime numbers will surely not be one after the other. Right? Because prime numbers are almost always odd other than 2. So they will surely not be one after the other. But even then, can't I just hypothetically assume that the 3 numbers are x, x and x, and then get x cube is equal to 7429. If x cube is 7429, what would x be? Let's see how to do that. What is 20 cube? What is 20 cube? 20 cube is 8000, absolutely. 20 cube is 8000. This number is less than 8000. So guaranteed x is less than 20. Yes or no? What is the largest prime number below 20? What is the largest prime number below 20? 19. So well, substitute 19. 7429 hai. Put in 19. 19 3s are 57. You get 172. 19 9s are 171. You get 1. That becomes 19. 391. So that means 19 divided 7429 completely. Okay. Now if 19 is one of the prime numbers, either 17 or 23 has to be additional prime number because they are consecutive prime numbers. Yes or no? Yes or no? If 19 is one of the prime numbers, then 17 and 23, one of them surely has to be there. Well, it's easier to work with 17 because it's an easier number. Put 17, you get 2, 34, 51, 3. And guess what? 23 is also a prime number. So you have 17, 19 and 23. And guess what? They said that the product of the first three numbers is 7429. If this is the product of the first three numbers and the first three numbers are 17, 19 and 23, what would the fourth number be? What would the fourth number be, guys? 29, absolutely. Because there were four consecutive prime numbers. So the sum is 17 plus 29, which is 46. Is that clear? Is that clear? Now, I have one simple question to ask you all. The three questions that we solved right now, did I use any convoluted mathematical logic? Did I use any, serious high-level mathematics? I did not. And this is exactly what CAT is. CAT is not a test of high-level mathematics. It is not a test of how verbose you are in English. It is not a test of whether you can solve any unsolvable puzzle or not. All that it is a test of is common sense. And the ability to apply common sense at the right time. And that is all that we are going to concentrate, through our night classes. So, the only caveat that I have, in fact, Ayushi has just joined us. The only caveat that I have is that you need to work hard and be prepared for every session and fulfill the post-class goals. Ayushi, are you there? I can see she's joined in. Ayushi, you there? I can't hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, so Ayushi is here. Guys, can you hear Ayushi? Brilliant.
Hello?
So
Am
Ayushi,
I audible?
yeah, Ayushi, you're audible.
Oh,
You're audible.
great.
We can hear you. So Ayushi, over to you. So I've just introduced these guys to what night classes is all about, and I was just in the process of telling them that the one thing that they'll need to do is work hard.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be great if you could just share certain insights regarding night classes and your preparation with night classes, and how it is that you utilize night classes
Mm-hmm.
while studying, because I think that's the most important thing. It's not about just enrolling into a program. It's about enrolling into a program and getting the most out of it.
Right.
So over to you, Ayushi.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Got it. Sort of, if you want me to add something, I can add, or if
Yeah,
there are some questions, we can take.
just to add on with what Ayushi was saying, a couple of things actually. Number one is what she said right at the end. Enjoy the 3 hours. And I think that is a very, very important thing to understand. And it's not just the 3 hours. You need to enjoy this entire process. And
Mm-hmm.
it might have been slightly difficult for Ayushi, because this was like the third or the fourth time that she was sitting for these exams, and it becomes very, very difficult to motivate your own self to go in there and tell yourself, "Yaar, fir se wahi same cheese again for another year." So it's not an easy thing to do. But if you do end up enjoying the process, well, it ensures that the level of difficulty of approaching the examination reduces. So I think that's a very, very important thing that Ayushi just spoke about. And the second thing that I'll probably want to point out that Ayushi spoke about is every day after coming back from work and before she, joined in for a night class session, she used to go through a Smart Cat Tracker video. Well, that is what I meant by you need to work hard. You can't be giving yourself excuses that because I work, I will not be able to spend as much time as the others do. That is not an excuse. That's not a valid excuse. You need to spend more time. So, exactly what Ayushi is saying, I used to do exactly the same thing when I was preparing. I used to be working till about 8 in the evening, used to come back home, and then I used to start my preparation and used to prepare from 10 at night to say about 3 in the morning. Sleep again and off to work at about 9 again. So that's the kind of thing that you sometimes need to do. Ayushi, thanks. Guys, any questions for Ayushi because she's still with us on the line? Any questions, guys? I don't know whether you all don't have or you all are just taking time to, right? If you do have questions, just say yes so that we at least know that you all are typing in and you all are going to ask. How many months of work ex, Ayushi?
About 28 as of now.
28 as of now, so I'm guessing July last year she was somewhere around 20.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay.
So yeah, no other classification. But yeah, the test series was something that I've done very religiously.
Important. Is it too late to start prep for CAT 17? Too late?
Not at all.
I don't think
Not
so.
at all. Not at all. I mean, I remember when I started for CAT 14, which was the one which I prepared the most for. I did about 4 months of prep, 4 months of focus prep.
Somebody else is asking you about your, your academic things, 10, 12, undergrad,
So my
percentiles in CAT.
10th was 92, 12th was 77, courtesy which I will never, like I could never get a call from C or B. And my grad was 81. My 2016 CAT percentile was 99.44.
99.44. So Ayushi, I'll kind of slightly disagree with you here. I wouldn't say that you couldn't get C. You could surely get C with a 77 in class 12, just that you would have needed a 99.75 core.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this year they increased the
The weightage to
weightage
10
for
and
C
12. Yeah,
again.
correct.
Yeah,
But yeah, you,
yeah,
you, you, you could still get that. I don't think that you should be saying that you couldn't get
yeah, maybe
that.
yes, you're right.
B would have been slightly difficult. I do agree.
Yeah.
So another question is, how did you manage time after your job? Practicing questions, studying, and so on and so forth.
So as I said, I did not join with the intention of writing CAT. I joined with because I was very excited to study, live from, and especially from Dido sir, because you cannot imagine the kind of energy he'll bring into class, the way he'll read a reading comprehension, and so that is why I joined, because somewhere in those 2 3 years I'd started enjoying the process of writing a mock test and then analyzing it and then feeling happy about a good score, sad about a bad score. So the 16th attempt, 3 months or 2 months of it was just because I was enjoying the process. I did not even have the thought of writing the test in the first place. And later on, when I realized that actually in earlier attempts there were a lot of places, lot of concepts that I had missed, which I started realizing once I started doing the night classes very religiously, started taking it very seriously. So because I was enjoying it, after coming from work, it was like something which used to make me happy. It was not work, it was not effort for me. It was actually something which used to make me feel better. So that's how I used to come back. And because I work for a non-profit on disaster relief, so my working hours were very crazy, like extremely crazy. We used to work for 16 hours a day during the Chennai floods. So after, but still I, I maintain one thing, which I feel is very crucial and which was missing in my earlier attempts. Every day, even if it is 30 minutes, even if it is 40 minutes, I'll spend at least some time. The days like I have 18 hours of work, I'll still come back and spend 30 minutes. So that every day I'm at least consciously doing something. Probably that helps me.
Very important. Very important. Another question. This is my first attempt at CAT. No classroom programs earlier. Is night classes a good choice?
I think it's the perfect choice. I sort of envy you that I didn't do it. Like it didn't exist when I was giving my first attempt, because a classroom program you cannot go through it again. And if the teacher's pace is much faster than your pace of grasping, you can do absolutely nothing about it. Whereas in a night class, you can actually come back, go through that session as many number of times as you want to until you understand every single question. Having said this, you also will have to some extent, because the class needs to go at an average pace where everyone is comfortable. So probably try to go through the, as I said, the smart cat cracker videos before coming to the class. Probably go through the, your funda books before coming to the class, because I don't think if you come without your basics, you will be able to get it. And it's always better if you're prepared for the class. You tend to feel more confident. Otherwise, you'll feel slightly lost if you're not prepared.
Absolutely. Another one which both of them have kind of put in. Is it worth doing an MBA or a PGDM course after 4 5 years of working? Yeah. Okay.
So I think this
Yeah.
question you can take much better
Yeah.
than I can.
I'll probably answer that. Guys, anything up till 4.5 years of work ex MBA makes a lot of sense. Anything upwards of 4.5 years of work ex, I'll always suggest that you go in for an executive MBA. The reason that I say so is because most of the firms that come to recruit, the moment you've crossed, 3 years of work ex, you're automatically just looking at lateral placements and you're not looking at proper final placements. And in lateral placements, most of the companies that will come to recruit would be either Genman, Ops or Systems. So if you're looking at that field, then anything till about 4.5 years makes a lot of sense. Post that, it's slightly difficult because companies will also not want to hire somebody who's slightly set in his or her way. They'll also be looking at some newer talent. Thus, anything lesser than 5 years, yeah, absolute go. It's an absolute go. More than 5 years, I'll probably say executive MBA makes a little more choice. Yes, IIMs do have an executive program. Yes. So I'm guessing that's about it. Those were most of the questions, Ayushi, that came up. Uh, okay, just one last question that Anushri had posted. How did you manage mock tests, the analysis, plus covering the entire syllabus?
The covering of the syllabus was done by the time I was through with the SCC and the NC videos. And the mock test, I once attended Satya sir's lecture, and he said that by the time you're reaching your final leg, at least 2 mock tests a week are the bare minimum. And that was about what I could do with my work, working hours. So I made it a point I do 2 mock tests on a Saturday or a Sunday, though my Saturdays are also working. And then another rule was not to take another mock unless I have the analysis of the previous mock. So that's how it was
Perfect,
managed.
perfect. Makes a lot of sense. I think that's about it, Ayushi. Those are the questions. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Sure.
And I
Gautam
hope.
sir, I'll be happy to take any other questions. I mean, mail or phone or anything offline if anybody has any other questions after this.
Sure. So, would you like to share your details with these kids?
I can, if you have it, you can, or otherwise, I don't know if I have access.
Sure. So, what I'll do is I'll probably share your details with them, and if needed, I might probably even add you to one of their WhatsApp groups, so that in case they have any
Sure.
questions, they can get in touch with you.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks a lot,
Great.
Ayushi. Thanks for joining in, and we'll probably have you over once, a couple more times to ensure that these guys are on track, and you can give them short pep talks to ensure that they're also. Hopefully, they'll be your juniors next year, and many of them would hopefully be there. Let's hope
I'll
so.
look forward to it.
A small night class reunion at IIM Ahmedabad would probably be a thing.
Perfect. That'll be amazing.
Perfect, great. Thanks, Ayushi.
Great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.